Now we're taking a look at the Tomofree BEE, and this is a very unique scooter, to put it lightly. Not only does it have striking colors, which I absolutely love. I love the actual look of the scooter. This bright yellow just is so striking, and also reminds me so much of the Transformers, right? BEE. Well, you can see that I am having a seated ride, because that's one of the unique aspects of this scooter. But it's not just the fact that it has a seat that you can sit on, and it rides pretty high. It's probably one of the best riding scooters that I have reviewed in a very long time. It's actually very comfortable, and I can see riding this in this seated position more than in the standing position. But this scooter has a 28-mile total top speed, 28-mile range, and a 1,500 milliamp hour motor. That powertrain is awesome. Now this scooter also features some great suspension. It has what I would consider, front and rear suspension. It's almost like a fork, like a wishbone suspension. And it also has 11-inch tubeless tires. So you're not gonna have to worry about these tires, wearing. They're off-road tires too. And they're very comfortable. I gotta tell you, between the suspension and the tires, this thing is delicious to ride. Super, super nice. Now, in addition to having some great suspension and tires, we basically have front and rear disc brakes, which is really nice. You can see me, I'm going over some grassy terrain, but with no problem here. It also then has a horn. It also has a light, and the lights are so striking. You guys saw that when we were looking at it. I love the way the lights look with this scooter. You basically have a bright white in the center and yellow highlights around. It's almost like if you were to think about an eye, right? I'm gonna get in the standing position so you can see what this looks like in a standing position. I'm actually a little bit more accustomed to riding a scooter in this position than any other. And let's talk about the throttle, right? That's what I'm holding on to right here. So this throttle is a turn throttle, not a thumb throttle, but a turn throttle. And this is gonna give you, again, immediate takeoff. So the scooter itself doesn't have a kick to start, or at least it's not a kick to start scooter. As soon as you switch into one of the power gears, which is gonna be 1, 2, 3, and you hit the throttle, the scooter's gonna go. So that's one thing to be aware of. Some people are not accustomed to that. Some people are accustomed to a kick to start scooter. This is definitely not one of those kick to start scooters. So it just kicks off as soon as you hit that throttle. And I'll tell you, it is responsive. If you've, with the $1,500 motor, the 1,500 watt motor, you're basically looking at, almost like a Tesla-like experience. So if you've ever ridden an electric car and you basically hit the throttle and it goes, that's what we're looking at right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to speed up a little bit. And right now it's telling me that I'm riding around 21 miles an hour. And it's pretty effortless, guys. I have to say that, very effortless. Now, this scooter can be used in 2 modes. One is with the actual seat, which I have between my legs right there. You can see me holding on to it. I can actually remove that. I can remove the base too. So it's an optional. It will also fold down. So if you're gonna be taking this with you somewhere, you can actually fold it down. So that's nice. I've also seen these used like for Uber Eats, especially if you're working a neighborhood. So that would work as well. Now the braking system on this scooter is really good, and what I want to show you is that this is speed 1, full throttle. So you can see the actual speed here is around 13 miles an hour. Yep, 13 miles per hour at the actual first setting. I'm going to go ahead and switch to the next setting in a second, and then we're also going to do the throttle test because I want to see how fast the scooter will go. And then we're going to compare it to, we have a speed cam that will tell me how fast I'm truly going based on the speed cam. All right, so now I'm going to kick off on speed 2. I want to see how fast it's going to go. So this is full throttle. And we've already exceeded the 13. It looks like 21 miles an hour is top speed on the second one. I'm going to kick it into the third gear. And I can feel it want to give a little bit more. And it is actually picking up in speed. It says that we're at 26 miles an hour now. 26 miles an hour, 27 miles an hour, 27, 28 miles an hour. Now, I weigh 180, so this is going to give you a sense of how fast you could go with my weight. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to test out throttle acceleration. So we're going to hit it full floor, and right now we're at 9 miles an hour. We're going to see how fast it will go, how quickly it's going to bump up. It's right now at 20 miles an hour. 20 miles an hour, 22 miles an hour, 23, 24, 25, 25, 26, and we're out of road. So let's talk about the overall ride experience on the scooter. Once again, great throttle. It's not the type of throttle that's going to kick you out of your seat though. I have it on the top speed, number 3, and it's going to get me up to 28 miles an hour. The turn throttle is responsive. It will not be a kick to start, so just be aware of that. Ride experience is great. It is quiet. Even though this scooter has so much metal in it, I hear no rattle, I hear no clanking. It is well put together. Now, while you're riding this scooter, it does have a wide base, so you can have your feet side by side, but many would recommend, including I, that you don't really ride it this way. You want to have one foot in front of the other. With the seat, it makes it difficult to do, right? So that's one thing to keep in mind. It's kind of one of those things that you're either going to use the seat or you're not. But again, having the seat and given the fact that you can raise it so high the way I had it was really good. Now, the other thing I'll highlight is this scooter can support weights up to 267 pounds, which is really nice. That is pretty heavy. And if you're not that heavy of an individual, then you can imagine if you're carrying stuff with you, any kind of groceries, any kind of Uber Eats stuff, you can do it. The one thing I will mention, and we're going to go ahead and do full throttle here to see what the speed cam tells us compared to our speed, is that I can feel the grippiness of the tires. The tires have thick treads, and I can feel those treads, you know, the actual, almost like the humming of the treads on the pavement. So that's just something to be aware of. I would expect that with time will kind of go away a little bit. So right now, I'm going a little bit up a grade, 25 miles an hour, 26 miles an hour. Let's see what the speed cam says. Speed cam says 22 miles an hour to the display of 25 miles an hour. So we have a little different there in speed, in true speed, but that's something that you should know. So the question I get many times is this a buy or a pass? Definitely based on the speed, comfort, seat, overall performance, how quiet this bike rides or the scooter rides, I'd say that this is a solid buy.
Now, the Tomofree BEE is a very robust, extremely well-built scooter that has a lot of, let's say, a sexiness to it because of the actual LED lights that are lighting up in the back. And once you see the headlights, you're going to be just losing your mind. It just looks so good, especially with the treatment that they have. And the specs are really good too. So you're looking at a 1,500 watt peak motor, right? 28-mile range. You're looking at the ability to be able to go up a 30-degree incline, given that powertrain that it has. The actual tires that you see there are basically 11-inch tubeless tires. You have a 48-volt, 20-amp-hour battery. And given the actual construction, the metal construction that you see here, as well as the power and the tires that it has, which again are tubeless tires, you're looking at being able to carry a max load of 267 pounds. So this is going to support larger riders, obviously, and smaller riders. One thing to note is that your range and speed is going to vary based on the weight of the individual riding the scooter. So that's going to be something that's really important to understand. Now, the full suspension, you can see in front and the back. You also have disc brakes, right, which is really nice as well. And the scooter, pretty obvious, has a seat, right? So the seat itself is going to be something that for those of you who like sitting at a scooter riding it, you can go ahead and do that. I'm the type of standing scooter rider. So if I have a scooter that has this, I typically take this off, but that's a good option for those of you who would like to be able to have this. Now, because of the tires that you have, these tires are considered off-road tubeless tires. So, this is really going to give you a great ride, but then also give you that, again, a peace of mind when you're riding through a off-terrain place. Here in Chicago, I don't have many places that are off-terrain. Parks are the most off-terrain that I could find. So there's not a lot of stuff going on here where I could put this to the heavy-duty test. The speed levels of this scooter are 3. So you'll be able to go through 3 speeds. And again, the scooter does fold, right? So basically, while the length of the scooter remains the same, it actually just becomes a little bit flatter once you bring things down. So let's take a closer look at all the features. We'll just take a pan of every area so that you can see how good the scooter looks. On the back of the scooter, you do have a very bright LED marker, which is really nice. You also have a handle in the back. You can see that right there, the yellow. And this is, again, all metal. So this is a no joke. This is a really, really solid scooter. You do have, as we get closer to the seating solution here, this area right here, you can actually adjust to raise or lower the actual seat. And then you can also fold it with the bottom area right there. The actual bed itself does have kind of like that sandpaper skateboard material that's going to give you the grip. It's not rubberized, it's more of that sandpaper type material that you find on scooters or on skateboards. In the front, as we go through, and you can see as we pan a little bit over here, you can see that suspension system, right? Which is the same. It's like a double fork suspension system, one in the front, one in the back. And then you can see these lights. These lights are crazy, right? So again, this is a Tomofree BEE, and it does look like a transformer, the actual lights themselves. So it's kind of getting blown out a little bit, but I'll try to focus here on the side for a little bit and kind of bring down the brightness here, see if I can get a little bit of that in. And there we go. The light itself is bright, and then it has a yellow LED ring all the way around it, which makes it really cool. It has a different accent that I haven't seen in any other scooters before. Again, you have fenders in front and back, so you could not have to worry about any weather or any kind of mud coming up, especially because it's off-road. You'll notice that in the front right here, you have that Tomofree large logo in the front. I do like the yellow treatment. You have a bag that you can carry with yourself. And the nice thing about this bag is that they do have a locking system that you can purchase that would allow you to lock the scooter. This is definitely a scooter that you're going to want to lock. As we turn around here, one of the things I'll bring up is the display. And now this display right here, very large display. It's literally the size of a phone. So this is like the size, almost the size of a Samsung phone or an iPhone. Large, 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 easy to read. And the cool thing about this is that it is NFC based. So watch this. So that's off. And you notice how it's flashing NFC. There's no on button, right? All you do is this. So you do get 2 of these NFC keys. You'll see them that I have them right here. And that's how you turn on and off the scooter, right? And then you have your standard controls, right? So if I press this button, which is going to be the actual light, you'll notice that turns it off. And you'll notice that once you turn this on, there is there's a dimming that takes place once you do that, right? So you'll see how that dims on and off depending on what you're doing there. It does have a horn. Oh, that's a little loud. Let me do it again. Right? And then on the opposite side here, you do have some other things going on. So this is your switch, right? And you'll notice right here, I'm going to switch it, and it's going to go from 1, 2, and 3. So this is where your speed control is, right? And then you basically have a throttle here, right? That's your throttle. Now, the only thing I would warn you about any kind of scooter that has this kind of throttle implementation is it's really, because it doesn't have a thumb, I would say, train where you press your thumb down and the throttle is in that fashion. Just be careful, because sometimes if you're holding on too tight, you can inadvertently turn this further and then you'll have more acceleration. So just be mindful of that. Braking system on each side, and the cables are really, really nice. So take a look at this cable management. Really, really nice cable management. And then as we go in the back here, I'm going to go ahead and show you when you press the brake light, it does light up. And everything is just really, really nice and tucked away. The lighting system, which is now off, let's go ahead and take a look at that again. You can see that. Look how nice that looks. And you can see the yellow trim that I mentioned to you. And again, that yellow pops. So this is going to be a scooter, when people see it, they're not going to know what it is because it has eyes. And you can see the 2 eyes that are right there. And, it's just a fantastic looking scooter.